Ladies and gentlemen, Melina. Once again, I've got a dress that's too short for its own good, darling. I hate that, darling. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Totally enjoy the show, darling. Melina, Melina, Melina. Guys, there was a fascinating story about a man who was the dad of, I guess it's a public speaker, and the son was just saying how good of the story is, how good his dad was. So he was saying that his dad was young and did something wrong, and so the way they punished him, he had eaten something at a grocery store without, and the mom was like, okay, this, my son, she's like basically saying, this guy shoplifted, what are you going to do for him? So, and then they're like, that's your son, and she's like, yeah, I know. So then he had to mop the floor every night. So then what happened was he saw that a lot of food was wasted and not a lot of food was kept it was a grocery store. So not a lot of the food was kept. So instead of throwing it out, he thought, why don't I just sell it to people that are poor for a discount price? So he's like, I'll still mop the floor, and what you can give me is the leftovers that you toss away. So he ended up selling them. And this is when he was a young boy, right? So he ended up selling all the things that normally would be tossed away and made money. Then eventually he got to bigger venues, so he decided to own a bar at one point. And so what happened was there was people there, and they, like, he didn't have a license, so he couldn't serve alcohol, so he rented it out to groups that wanted to have a function. So then he rented it out one day to a religious group, and the religious group wanted to see rippers, and they wanted alcohol, they wanted all this. So he ended up serving all that, and the police basically caught him, so he had to shut it down. Then eventually he owned a restaurant, and then he owned a sports team. And what happened was the sports team was doing very badly, no one was going to make money off of them. And then they ended up winning 2 Stanley Cups. It was a Canadian team. 2 Stanley Cups, and they ended up getting. Oh yeah, so he would just talk to thousands of people and say, bring your friends next time, bring your friends. So he'd sit down with individual 1,000 people and just talk to them and say, why not bring your friends? So he did it every night for several nights, and then it doubled in size. More than doubled, sold out shows, sold out sports arenas for the hockey team. And then the restaurant that he was doing, he knocked on 1,000 people's doors and asked them about restaurants, how to run a restaurant. And then he basically earned a lot of money that way. So it was just a really good story. You're like, oh my God, darling, how do you turn nothing into something, even as a young boy, darling? Anyway, he was really great. I was like, wow, that's awesome. Anyway, totally enjoy. Bye now. Story time with Melina. Bye now. Bye, everyone.